Redesigned.
Durability is another thing. Like these days, you literally have to babysit your phone. Like if you drop your phone outside with no case on it, and this was like 20 years ago, you wouldn't have nothing to worry about. If you drop your phone outside now with no case, you're finished.
Oh shit, it's frying. Done jumped in there, bro.
What the hell have I just watched?
Oh,
What?
I really wish that, because I know there's a massive market for retro phones. Yeah, Nokia, Ericsson, Nortel, Motorola, if you're listening, there's no reason why you can't just bring out the old phones how they were before. They've put, you can still use apps on them. We don't want no apps. We want the monochrome screen as it was. Just reissue the phones, bruv. I'll give you the money. I can see people just going into other people's phones and just like transferring money into their accounts. Like, I don't know why that popped into my head, but maybe I should delete that. Welcome back to another episode of the Redesigned podcast. Not just another tech podcast, but a place where we explore digital culture. We look at the past, the present, and the future of tech and where it's taking us. Today's episode is for anyone who's ever felt a sense of shame looking at their daily screen time. We're diving into the question, can we really escape the digital matrix? From dumb phones to screen time shaming, how did we get to a point where we spend so much time on our devices? Also, big news to share about Netflix potentially stepping into the music streaming arena and going head to head with Spotify. Plus, got some interesting developments about AirPods with built-in cameras. Then we're going to jump into another installment of Scrolling Deep, where I'll share some of the most thought-provoking posts that caught my attention this week. Also excited to announce a new game called Sound Flash. So you'll hear 1 second of audio from a song, a movie theme, or a game soundtrack, and you need to guess what it is. Yeah, it's time to test your music, your movie, and your gaming knowledge, your nostalgia knowledge. Time to put it to the test. So the answer is going to be revealed at the end of the show. And yeah, don't forget, got your weekly dose of nostalgia as well as we rewind back into time. All of this coming up after the intro.
Artificial intelligence, Web 3.0, consumer electronics, social media, the metaverse, biotechnology, autonomous vehicles, the Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, CRISPR, space travel, digital media, next generation gaming, e-commerce, robotics, climate change, carbon neutral, engineering, wearable technology, digital health.
Redesigned.
Quick housekeeping, if you've just tuned in for the first time, I am the content producer, and this is the Redesign podcast where we talk about all things tech, digital culture, social media, everything that's going on right now in this crazy world, how to navigate it, how to take advantage of what's going on, and just to be aware of where we're heading when it comes to technology, since it's ruling so much of our lives these days. Don't forget you can follow me on the social at the content pro _ on Instagram and also Threads, and TikTok at the content producer. If you like the content so far and you've watched a couple of videos, don't be shy. Chime in the comment section. That's where it all happens. And also like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I think that's how they say it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. But anyway, let's get into this week's news.
Redesigned.
In a recent update, WhatsApp has introduced a feature allowing iPhone users to manage multiple accounts on one single device. So this is definitely a game changer when it comes to running a business. And let's say you've only got one phone and you don't want the hassle of having two numbers or two SIM cards or carrying two phones. Now, this functionality previously available on Android since 2023 enables users to separate personal and professional messages and communications without the need for multiple devices. So to add a new account, users can simply either set it up as a primary account or link it by scanning the QR code. Each account maintains its own notifications, its own chats, its own backups, and its own settings. So that ensures that you have distinct separation between your different accounts, different aspects of your life, whether it's your business, wherever it is. So this is expected to significantly improve the user experience by giving greater flexibility and control. Pretty decent. Apple's reportedly prioritizing the integration of cameras into future AirPod models. What do we need cameras on AirPods for? Yo. And this is part of their computer vision plans. What does he mean by computer vision plans? Okay. Now I'm talking about the efforts by companies such as Apple to create technology that allows devices to see and interpret the world around them using cameras and sensors. So for example, computer vision enables these devices to recognize objects, track movements, or even understand environments in 3D. Typically, this is used in applications like augmented reality, AR, facial recognition, or features like spatial audio, which kind of adjusts the sound based on your position. So if you move to the left or to the right, the sound may change to give you that sense of reality in relation to where the sound is coming from and where you are. But in simpler terms, it's about teaching the technology to process and understand visual information, just like human beings do, how our eyes and our brains work together. Now, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, the company aims to release the camera-equipped AirPods by 2027 alongside smart glasses. So adding cameras, potentially including infrared sensors, could enhance features like spatial audio by detecting head movements, as I mentioned before. And this move aligns with Apple's broader strategy to expand its AR capabilities across various devices such as the Vision Pro. Netflix might be eyeing up the streaming market, a move that could completely reshape the entire industry. So the streaming giant has already transformed how we watch movies and TV, turning the traditional rental model on its head. And they could do the same for music. What makes this interesting is Netflix's technological edge. So their recommendation algorithms are some of the best in the business, let's say that. And applying this tech to music could create an incredibly personalized listening experience. So just think about how Netflix seems to know exactly what show you want to watch next. Now imagine the same precision and the same intellect with music. For musicians, Netflix's potential entry is a particularly interesting one. The platform's built its reputation on giving new content a chance to find its audience. So especially independent artists who often struggle to get noticed on existing platforms, they might find this important. It might add a more level playing field. And given Netflix's deep pockets and subscription-only model, there's potential for better compensation for the musicians, a persistent pain point in music streaming. Always has been. Now, the timing makes sense from Netflix's perspective. They already license a lot of music for their shows and movies, so they understand the landscape. In fact, they license everything. A music service could keep subscribers engaged between binges and create an organic crossover with their existing content. So imagine finishing Stranger Things and then immediately being able to dive into a curated playlist of sort of 80s hits that inspired the show. So stuff like that could be pretty good and provide more value for money for the customer. Makes it more of a all-rounded experience. But there are some valid concerns. The music industry has seen its fair share of disruptions, and questions will remain about how Netflix would balance promoting major artists versus independent musicians. Would they be able to solve that problem of fair compensation that sort of plagues the current streaming services? Can they create something distinctive enough to stand out in an already crowded marketplace? You've got Amazon Music, you've got YouTube Music, you've got Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, Apple Music. Can they figure this out? Now, what sets Netflix apart is their singular focus on streaming. Unlike Apple or Amazon, for example, for them, like, music streaming it's like a side hustle. Since their broader business model, their broader focus is on products that they sell. For example, Amazon e-commerce, their cloud services. With Apple, you've got computers, iPhones, cloud subscriptions. But with Netflix, is different. Their laser focus has been on streaming. That's all it's been. So it served them well in video. So could that be their secret weapon when it comes to music streaming too? If they can successfully integrate music into their existing platform, because they've already got the infrastructure, they've already got an app, they've already got the user base, especially with it being installed on like the majority of smart TVs. Can they pull it off? That's the question. If they can successfully integrate music into their existing platforms, as I was saying, while addressing the current industry pain points, they might just orchestrate the next big disruption in digital entertainment since iTunes. That would be mad. The potential is certainly there. Netflix has the technology. Yeah, I think Netflix could really could shake some tables if they join the music streaming industry. What do you think? Apple's rolling out this new feature in iOS 18 where you can actually control someone else's iPhone remotely during a call. So that's during a FaceTime call. Kind of like having a virtual helping hand or tech support. Just think about those times where you're trying to help your mom or your dad figure out their phone settings or showing a friend how to use a new app. So instead of just saying, tap here, swipe there, you can actually guide them through it yourself by taking control over their phone. Of course, they need to give you permission first. But yeah, Apple's made sure that nobody can just take control without the other person saying it's okay. Shout out to all the hackers. I know this is going to cause problems. This is going to cause so many problems. But you know how like tech-savvy family members often become the default IT department for relatives? This makes that job so much easier. So while Android users have been using apps like TeamViewer or that kind of stuff for similar help, Apple's baking this right into the iOS natively via FaceTime, making it super seamless. So just keep in mind when you're giving someone control of your phone, make sure it's someone you actually trust. I can see people just going into other people's phones and just like transferring money into their accounts. Like, I don't know why that popped into my head, but maybe I should delete that. But yeah, what do you think about this feature? Would you use it to help out friends and family? Comment below.
Redesigned.
How can I connect my hi-fi to my TV?
So what's the right mobile for me?
Got a radio alarm to wake him before me?
Which TV will work in a caravan?
How can I steer clear of traffic jams?
Got a portable
Need a little help this Christmas?
What's a suitable microsystem for my son?
Come to Tandy. We've got helpful people who'll give you sensible advice.
Got a battery for my car?
Tandy, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Redesigned.
It's that time again for another installment of Scrolling Deep. We're going to go into the murky waters of the internet. These videos that make you just think, boy, that's enough internet for me today. You know them ones. Let's go.
That's it.
Closer.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, that's mad relatable, That is mad relatable. Shit, every time you want to spend something on yourself, something comes up, man. Fuck's sake. Let's keep going. I remember this phone. I used to have this phone. It was the Nokia 6250. Yeah, I'm so proud of myself when I got this phone. Shout out the creative Sav, making me want to get a VR headset, Usually I'm an early adopter when it comes to tech. Out of all the gadgets, that's the one thing I haven't got. That's the one thing I ain't tried. I ain't tried VR. The reason why I ain't tried it is because I just don't want to get addicted to another thing. Like, honestly, need to concentrate out here. Need to stay focused. There's too much distractions out here. Trust me. That's why we all need a digital detox. Yeah, what else we got here?
Oh shit, it's frying. Done jumped in there, brother.
What the hell have I just watched?
Oh,
What? That's peak athleticism right here. Bro said that, I can't get in through the door. Alright. Bro took like 3 steps and he's in the window. That guy inside there is getting corned.
We're going to play the game Sound Flash. So I'm going to give you 1 second of a sound clip and you got to guess what it is. And if you want the answer, you got to stick around to the end of the show for the answer. So let's see how clever you really are. So you ready, yeah? 3, 2, 1. That was it. If you want to catch it again, rewind it. So I'm going to give the answer at the end of the podcast.
Redesigned.
Now let's take a moment to think back to a time before we were constantly connected to the internet. Before smartphones turned our pockets into portable offices and our lives into endless streams of notifications. It's just mad. Back then, the phone box was a lifeline. You step outside, you fumble in your pocket for a bit of change, and hope to God that the person you're calling was actually home. Yeah, or you could get through to them. There were no missed calls to notify you that you tried. You had to be patient or persistent, either one. But when mobile phones came along, they weren't smart. It was simple. Calls and texts were all you had. And even those were rationed because of the cost. Do you remember memorizing your friend's phone numbers? You didn't rely on a device to store them for you. You relied on your brain. TV wasn't on demand. If you wanted to watch something, you checked the TV guide, you planned your evening, and gathered around with your family or friends to watch that shit. There was no scrolling endlessly for something to watch. There was an element of shared anticipation. You even made an event out of it. Shopping was another experience entirely. It wasn't about clicking add to cart from your sofa. It was an all-day affair. Walking from shop to shop, from store to store, trying things on, stopping for lunch, going to get a cheeky McD's, coming home with bare shopping bags and bare stories to tell. And the internet, it was just a place you visited, not somewhere you lived. You logged on, you heard that dial-up tone, you made the most of your 1 hour online, if that. When you were done, you were done. You disconnected and you got back to living. Life felt simpler. There was way less comparison, less pressure to document every single moment and everything that you've done, more time just spent being. We were less self-conscious about what we had or didn't have because we weren't bombarded by a highlight reel of other people's lives. Family time was sacred. Friendships were more intentional, and the moments that we shared felt richer because they weren't interrupted by pings or looking at our screens. Looking back, it's kind of clear that we definitely traded something precious for the convenience of 24/7 connectivity. Convenience always has a cost. The question is, can we strike a balance between the two worlds? Can we really unplug in an always online society? Is it possible? The term digital detox first trended in 2012, back when overuse meant texting during dinner. That's minor nowadays. Today's a full-blown lifestyle. Silicon Valley execs brag about their screen-free Sundays, while their apps hijack our attention and that of our kids. The irony is mad. In 2023, a writer named Emily tried a 30-day digital sabbatical. No social media, no email, just a flip phone and a library card. By day 3, she was having panic attacks. But here's the thing. When she came back online, her followers had already moved on. The algorithms buried her content. The detox killed her anxiety, but it killed her career. So why is this important? The thing is, we rely so much on the phone, the social media, especially those of us who are self-employed, who've got side hustles or freelancers and stuff like that, or if you rely on social media for your work. It's crazy. If you take a long break from social media, you basically lose all your traction. The algorithm buries you. It penalizes you for taking breaks. Same thing happened to me. When I disappeared from YouTube, I was actually monetized. Back in 2018, 2019, I was actually monetized on YouTube. So I was actually making money from my YouTube videos. And because I hadn't made a video in over a year, they took me off the monetization for basically for inactivity. So taking breaks from social media and from online can literally have real life impact on your finances. It's serious stuff. But how did we get here? How did we become so reliant? You know, the phone is basically a Swiss Army knife. Like back in the day, we just did what we did. A calculator was a calculator. A camera was a camera. You know, if you had a camcorder, you was rich, How many people do you know have a camcorder back in the 80s and 90s? Not many people, right? So those things were special. Shopping was shopping. You go to a shop, you take out your cash, and you spend your money. You go to the cash square, you spend your money, all this online shopping, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, DoorDash. It's changed the way we live, like more than you think. We take a lot for granted how much life has changed since smartphones, since 2010. It's crazy. And all the apps that we're on. So for those of us who use this stuff, not just for keeping up with our friends and family, but for our careers and businesses, especially if you're self-employed or a freelancer, it's actually crazy how much we rely on this. And there's also been a new study stating that the average person checks their phone 144 times a day. And that's up 20% since 2020. 144 times. That's every 6.5 minutes. At this point, are we just digital crackheads? Are we just crackheads? When we start to see Gen Z is increasingly turn into what they call dumb phones, so non-smartphones, for several reasons that address their mental health and well-being. A lot of people are seeking refuge from this constant connectivity that we're in. And it's social media addiction, let's be real. There was a survey that revealed that over 50% of teenagers spend more than 7 hours daily on social media platforms. And this has been linked to potential mental health issues such as ADHD symptoms, depression, anxiety, and also sleep deprivation. These kids are not going to bed. They're staying up late on their phone. They're going to bed at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and going to school the next day because they've been on TikTok or Snapchat all day. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. What are we going to do about it? Let me know in the comment section. You can comment on Spotify. You can also comment on YouTube. So it depends on whether you're listening on audio-only platform or YouTube. So to everyone who's listening on the YouTube, you just drop a comment. Have you seen this in your own life and family and friends, children of family or friends, or your own children? How is it affecting you?
Redesigned.
The trend about going to dumb phones is, to limit screen time, disconnect from the constant connectivity of smartphones, reducing their screen time, escaping the toxicity of constantly being contacted, all the notifications, and then with the dumb phones, obviously they're cheaper, better battery life, and people are reporting a lot more focus and better productivity just by eliminating all those distractions. Longer periods of uninterrupted work just by disconnecting from the online world. And then also there's the nostalgia factor. For the millennials and Gen X, these phones are, they remind them of a simpler time. Remember the thrill of owning your first Nokia or your first Motorola? The excitement of playing Snake or flipping open your phone with a satisfying snap to it to answer a call. Them times you felt special, when you used to see that three messages received on your Nokia, you felt popular. Well, maybe I speak for myself. I'd look at my phone, I'd see a voicemail, a couple missed calls. I feel like, yeah, that was when I first got my first phone. I think I was 14. That's not a big deal for kids nowadays. Kids are getting phones from the age of 2. So, or even 1. Yeah, we're just living in different times. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think is too young for a child to have a phone? Yeah, I want to know. I want to know from you guys. What do you think is too young? What is too young for a child to have a phone, their own phone? Durability is another thing. These days, you literally have to babysit your phone. If you drop your phone outside with no case on it, and this was 20 years ago, you wouldn't have nothing to worry about. If you drop your phone outside now with no case, you're finished. I think I saw somewhere it was, I think it was Getz. I think he had a phone with he didn't have a case on his phone, and someone said, "Oh, you rich." And I thought about it, it's true, if you see someone with no case on the iPhone 16 Max, the iPhone 16 Pro, or iPhone 15 Pro, I don't even know which one is the latest one now. They've got so many, probably iPhone 16, pretty sure it's 16. And you got no case on it. Yeah, they're rich. Yeah, man, today's phones are too fragile. I really wish that, because I know there's a massive market for retro phones. And Nokia, Ericsson, Nortel, Motorola, if you're listening, there's no reason why you can't just bring out the old phones how they were before. I'm not talking about, because you see Nokia, I think they sold the rights to another company to make the phones using the old names, but they're not the same phone. They've put color screens on them. They've put you can still use apps on them. We don't want no apps. We want the monochrome screen as it was. Yeah, just basic phone. Just reissue the phones, bruv. You know how like with record labels, they're reissuing the vinyls that they had 30, 40 years ago. Please just reissue the phones, bruv. I'll give you the money. Take my money. Because there's some phones I wish I had and I didn't get to have. You know? Like I wish I had a Motorola StarTAC when that first came out. Missed out on that. And also there was another phone. There was a Nokia 8110. I actually have two of them. In fact, let me grab that right now. It's in. I'm pretty sure it's in one of my boxes down there. Let me just grab that. Yeah, it took me a while to get this. This is the Nokia 8146. This is the UK model. Got that sliding design. Hey, I'll tell you a story about this. Why I didn't get to have this. I actually had it, like physically had it, but it didn't work. I saved up my pocket money for 6 weeks. It's a long story. I'm gonna have to leave this for another episode. So I'm gonna tell you the story in the next episode. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave the next episode. I might tell it on my Insta. So, but yeah, these phones, you don't need to babysit them. You know, those retro mobile phones were built like tanks. You can drop, especially the 3310. You could drop them in a bag accidentally without worrying about shattering the screen and stuff like that. Yeah, like which one is insurance? Which one is phone insurance? We never had to worry about them things. And also modern phones nowadays, they track everything you do. It's a good thing and that's a bad thing. They track your location, your habits, even your conversations. For those concerned about, digital surveillance or those who want to unplug, these phones offer a sense of privacy, security, freedom. See, each phone had its own character, Nowadays, they're all just black screens. I think we've reached the point of there's no innovation with smartphones. I think smartphones will be dead within 5 years and we'll all be wearing the smart glasses. But that's for a different episode. I genuinely believe that's coming down the track. It's already happening, And our behaviors are changing as such where it's like, everyone's got the awareness of like, hey, something ain't right. We spend too much time on our phones. Something ain't right, So what do you think? Could you trade in your smartphone for a retro device, even if it's just for a couple of days? I know I could. I know I would. But yeah, Nokia, Ericsson, all you guys, legacy mobile phone brands, come on, man, reissue the old phones and don't try and put no 5G in it or 4G. I don't want that. Just take my money and give me a 2G phone, Sometimes I just like the character of these phones, like seriously. Like, let me do a little close up. I'm gonna put a little close up on this with the B-roll. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and film this, but yeah, you probably can't even see this. If I point it towards the light. Yeah. And it does work. Like, if I charge it, if I put a charger in it, it does work, but it won't connect to a network. That's the sad thing about it. And these are going on eBay for about maybe 150 now. Mad thing. To conclude, can we really ever escape the digital matrix? See, we rely on our phones for banking, entertainment, transport, ordering food, medical stuff, making payments, It's weird. But yeah, we use it for all that stuff. We listen to music on it. And of course, social media, YouTube, what you're watching this on now, perhaps. Although social media is optional, how much of the other stuff is really that optional? I challenge you to not use the internet in any way, shape or form for just one day. And let me know how you get on. Convenience has a cost. This was all by design. The phone, unfortunately, has become deeply ingrained in society. We can't fully escape that, but we can definitely become more intentional and definitely escape from it for periods of time. When we can go out in nature, be intentional about our time, consciously choose what to engage with and when, focus on our real world connections, prioritize face-to-face interactions and experiences over virtual ones. Go out, hug a tree or something, journal, be present, enjoy life, resist the clickbait and the conspiracy theories, buy music on physical media, read books, dive in on real hobbies. Do people even really have hobbies like that anymore? Like collecting stamps, trains, gadgets, cards, comics. Do people even do that? I don't know. I mean, while a complete escape might not be feasible or desirable in this interconnected world, like I mentioned before, you can literally lose your income or business by saying, nah, I don't want nothing to do with it anymore. Or you can fall behind when it comes to work. The key really lies in just being aware of our habits and just making conscious choices and continuously working on mastering our own minds in the face of digital distractions.
Redesigned.
Like I said, I would promise to give you the correct answer for Sound Flash, and the correct answer is Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man.
And that's the theme for the 80s TV show Knight Rider. That's it for this week. Make sure you subscribe, hit the follow button if you're locked in on Spotify. Give me a shout in the comment section. Let me know what you thought. Until next week.